What's up, everybody? We are back with another episode of Big Back Adventures. And on this episode, I got another comedian extraordinaire here, right? This is an amazing comic from Jonesboro, or Memphis by way of Jonesboro, right?
I'm still from Jonesboro.
Yeah.
I'm actually from even smaller than that.
So, everybody, welcome Allison McArthur on to the show. Yeah.
Hey, guys.
So, yeah, everybody knows that that's a fake sound, but
Yeah,
it's
it's all right. Sorry, it's my non-existent fans out there clapping for me.
So the subject for this episode today is being a mom,
Yes,
right? And
I am one.
eating food and all that kind of stuff. So, because being a mom, I feel like, you know, it's a whole different game when it comes to food, right?
Sure is.
So, because you got picky kid eaters, you got kids that want to eat everything, you got the whole, like, I got to do it as soon as I get off of work, right? And, like, the weekend food, that kind of thing, right?
Yes.
So, I guess my first question is I always start off with the experience, right? So, what is, you say, your experience of being a mom and then having to cook food all the damn time and that kind of thing with picky eaters and all that kind of thing?
Well, I do love cooking, and I have always tried to cook, like, not processed food.
Yeah.
But I've also always worked full-time, and I had a child, so it's like half. It's always like half and half, like trying to eat something healthy and then eating just like pizza or something else.
Yeah.
But I mean, when my daughter was younger, I don't know. She's never been picky.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's been a blessing for the most part. And since I only have one, and her dad and me had her half and half, so half the time I could eat like a horrible slob. And the other half of the time, it was like, I'm gonna feed you whatever these leftovers are, or making it. I'm not great about like having a meal and everybody sitting down at the same time. That sometimes it was like, here's your food, and I'm gonna go like nibble on something over here in the kitchen. You know, I am notorious for eating dinner late, and so if I cook after I get home. A lot of times we would never eat until like 8:30 or 9 o'clock. I mean, that's still the way it is now.
Which, I mean, honestly, I think that's a pretty average thing, I think, you know what I mean, for like a working class family, you know what I mean, and that kind of thing, especially somebody who works an 8-hour shift every day or 40 hours a week kind of shit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, okay, what would you say, like, your go-to thing? Like, what's your go-to quick meal? I was like, I gotta cook dinner. Like, what's my quick thing?
If it's like a quick meal out of a box, it would be like egg rolls. A lot of me and her are both sensitive to cheese, and so I always try to like look for fast things that are not full of dairy. Although we definitely eat pizza, but so a lot of like egg rolls or dumplings, just like sausages or hot dogs, things that are fast. Macaroni and cheese is one of my daughter's favorite foods, so I've made a lot of macaroni and cheese.
I feel like, I don't know what it is. Somebody asked a question. Why do white people love macaroni and cheese so much? Like, out of the box macaroni and cheese.
I think it's just like a comfort. I mean, I never make it straight out the box. Like, I always doll it up. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I mean, it's just something that our family, that my mom always made, the Kraft macaroni and cheese. It's not great. It's definitely like a certain taste, though. But like, I always buy the generic macaroni and cheese because I just always put like more stuff in it. But if I'm like cooking, I'm like pretty good at cooking. Like, I can make curry, I can make soup, I can make spaghetti, I can make, any kind of like, I'm good at sauces. So I like to make Alfredo sauce or like pesto sauce, a lot of pasta, Asian food and like rice. So I like to cook. And when I do, I like, let's see, what else? I'm always the person that makes Thanksgiving dinner for like my small family. So I've definitely, I love to make chicken and dressing.
Well,
and like,
that's a good one then. Well, so what's your like a family, I guess you say, like a holiday dinner where you like, I'm cooking a bunch of shit, you know what I'm saying? Like
Thanksgiving for sure.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, and like my dad, my kid's dad, his aunt taught me how to make dressing. Like when I was like 22 years old, and I still use that recipe. Make all your cornbread from scratch. Make your broth from scratch from your chicken, and then You know, you just like put 12,000 hours into effort of something that people are going to eat in 5 minutes. But it's really good. I mean, you know, seasoned. Like, I try not to like fit the white stereotype of not seasoning my food, because I did like learn how to cook. I actually learned how to cook from TV. When I was a kid, I love food. I was a chubby little kid, and I definitely ate a lot of comfort food, or food to comfort me. But I would watch a lot, food to comfort me. I know. It's really the same thing, but But I would like, my parents worked. I was a latchkey kid, and so in the summertime, I would watch like Rachel Ray and the Food Network, and I really did like learn how to every week in the like the newspaper. Remember the newspaper? Like the food section of the newspaper would come out once a week, and I would like look at the recipes and read all the stuff.
Okay.
I was a dork.
Okay, so technically you're what, Gen Z, right?
I'm like
I'm
a
Gen X.
millennial.
A Gen X,
I was born in '80, so I'm like right in the middle.
Oh yeah,
of
so
the
technically, so you're Gen X then.
Yes. Well, Gen X ends in '82, but like the years between '78 and '82 are like these crossover years. We grew up without the internet, and then as soon as we were like in college, it was here. So.
Okay. Yeah. So technically, I
don't like to be Gen X, even though I feel like I'm betraying my generation. But they're like old and bitter, and I'm younger and less bitter.
I mean, but at the same time, though, you still technically are Gen X. You know what I'm saying?
I love grunge. I loved all that shit.
So, okay, tell me, what do you think then is like top tier Gen X food? You know what I'm saying?
Oh, man. And let me tell you, my mom was lazy as fuck. She's not a good cook. And we
baby boomers who didn't cook. What?
Right. No, I had the most like classically boomer narcissist parents that like we were latchkey kids. We always had bagel bites and mini egg rolls and frozen pretzels and a lot of and my mom was also like a really obsessive dieter. Yeah. So we had a lot of fat-free shit because it was the era of fat-free.
Oh, okay.
Fat-free cheese, fat-free crackers, everything that really wasn't that good for you, honestly. But we had a lot of shitty snacks. Yeah. I mean, I guess it wasn't shitty. And looking back, I mean, like that shit is expensive. I did not buy that stuff for my kid. Not that much. Yeah. No. But
yeah. I mean, because I think it's funny too because it's like me being a millennial, right? But I'm like an early, I guess, millennial because I was born in '86, right? So it's like. I remember being a kid and being like, oh, shit, I want some fucking bagel bites. And my mom was like, I'm not buying that shit.
Yeah, she like, made the right decision.
Yeah, my mom would just buy bagels and then put pizza sauce and cheese on it. And you got bagel bites. I'm like, it's not the fucking same.
We did eat a lot of, like, canned, like, ravioli and, you know, that stuff.
Yeah. I feel like it's louder, but that's just, I don't know. But anyway. So, like, okay. I mean, I think that, like, for Gen Z and millennial, I think that like ravioli and like Chef Boyardee was definitely like top tier after school food. You know what I'm saying?
Lots of Hot Pockets too.
Yeah. Hot Pockets and pizza rolls. Yep. You know what I mean? So yeah. Okay. All right. So next question, right? What is outside of Thanksgiving, right? Mm-hmm. What is like if you had to pick a dish to make, right, from like beginning to end? So say like. Appetizer, starter, right, entree, then dessert or whatever, right? What would you say your thing is, right?
If I was gonna like make like a fancy meal, like a 3-course meal,
or say like you're gonna be like I'm just gonna make a meal for me and my kid type of thing. You know what I'm saying? Like we're gonna fancy it up, but
yes. So I really like to make like Cajun Alfredo with shrimp and like you know bell peppers and onions and mushrooms.
Sounds fire.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Cajun shrimp Alfredo. It's also one of my daughter's favorite foods. But I also really love like snack food, appetizer food. You know what I mean? So sometimes I might make like a whole meal of that. Like I like pigs in a blanket. Sausage balls. Sausage balls is like. The food that I've made them so many times. Like I made like a quintuple recipe of sausage balls.
You know what's funny is that was the last thing that I was probably expecting to hear was sausage balls.
Yeah,
that's hilarious. Okay, all right. So that would be. So you would say like your top tier appetizer is gonna be what, like a sausage ball?
Or like if I'm going fancy, I really love a stuffed mushroom.
Okay.
You
Yeah,
know,
that's fine, too.
like maybe shrimp or something
yeah.
chopped up with some cheese and yeah. But honestly, cheese dip and chips is my favorite food on earth.
Okay.
So if it's just for me, I'm just gonna go to the Mexican restaurant and just eat chips and queso.
Okay. So I was about to ask, it was like white cheese dip or yellow cheese dip?
Well, you know, I grew up making Velveeta.
Yeah.
You know, whatever.
I hate that so much.
I mean, you know, honestly, like I started to hate it even when I was a kid. You know, you taste the good cheese dip one time.
Yeah.
It's like, what is this horse shit?
Yeah. What is this plastic?
Right.
Like
Yes.
Okay.
It's like already dry before I'm supposed to eat it.
Right.
It doesn't start with milk. It's weird. I don't know.
It's weird. I don't eat it.
I had a cat named Cheese Dip when I was a kid, though.
That's hilarious. Was it a white cat?
It was an orange cat.
Okay. That makes even more sense.
I was born in the 80s. There was no white cheese dip in the early 80s.
You know, I'm gonna have to look that up and like when did cheese dip like hit the market or hit the scene
This
or whatever?
is a funny thing that happened with my kid though. Like you were talking about your mom buying the bagels.
Yeah.
Whenever Sydney, my daughter's name's Sydney, when she was little, like little, you know, like 3, 4, 5 years old, I would always make Lunchables for her because I think Lunchables and Uncrustables are like the two most wasteful foods that they make. Like when I remember seeing Uncrustables, I'd be like, who can't make a fucking peanut butter and jelly? It's the easiest food on earth to make.
I mean, I think about that all the time. But what's hilarious is that I have a cousin, right? And he will get the Uncrustable and then take the hard part of the Uncrustable off. So I'm like, you're uncrusting an Uncrustable.
That is insane to me. Bread
makes no sense.
In this era of inflation, bread and jelly and peanut butter might be like still 3 of the cheapest foods that you can buy.
Right.
I do love peanut butter, but no. Oh, but I would make her Lunchables, and then I remember one day, like after she started, I don't know if it was kindergarten or first grade, but like one day she came home and I tried to give them to her, and she was like, "That is not a Lunchable." And she, like from there on, she would never eat them again.
Yeah.
She wouldn't eat them at all. She would either just maybe eat like the expensive ones, or just not eat them at all. But it was a real sad day because that was a very cheap dinner.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You want like 2 pieces of lunch meat and a piece of cheese and some crackers for dinner? Yeah. Some grapes.
Grapes and a piece of a brownie.
There we go.
Yeah, that's hilarious. That's fun. My mom would do stuff like that too. Like she would see something in the store that we would ask for, and then she'd be like, "I'm just gonna make this version of it at home." Right?
Like my cooking style is really like what I'm really good at is just like looking at the food that I have and making something interesting and like from scratch from it. Like going to my cabinet and being like, okay, well, I've got like a can of this and I have this. What can I make with this? But that's like that works with my ADHD brain though. You know what I mean? It's like you have to gamify your life.
Yeah,
and that's one way.
I think that's like every mom has that superpower to be able to be like, I have 5 things, I can make a whole course meal out of this, right? So
I'd even do it now. I didn't have a fridge for 2 months in my rent house. I was making some real interesting meals out of my tiny little deep freeze.
Okay, so what would you say your like throw together 5 ingredient entree would be, right? After eating the sausage balls.
Let's see. So I like always will keep some kind of because I can't eat beef. So okay. I like usually have sausage, so I will like cut up because you can put that in anything like chicken sausage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'll either make like a soup or some kind of sauce depending on do I have some broth or do I have like a can of tomatoes and beans or do I have spaghetti sauce or something, but it has flavor, you know what I mean? Like chicken's kind of boring and it takes longer to cook, and it's like more work to make it taste good. You know, you could just like saute some, and I'm big on flavor, so I always will chop an onion and garlic and make it the base of whatever I'm cooking. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So, but yeah, it's just whatever kind of thing I can make a sauce out of. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Whether it be like maybe just like a regular spaghetti sauce or maybe an Alfredo sauce.
Okay.
So but definitely keep some sausage in your refrigerator because it will always help you. And it's not raw, so you don't have to like make sure it's you could just like open it and throw it in the microwave. Even.
Throw it on top of rice or
whatever. The air
whatever.
fryer though, it's like I cook everything in the air fryer.
That's what I was gonna ask. Is like what's your mom kitchen utensil to go to?
It's pretty new for me, but it is the air fryer because you can make leftovers taste good. I like the crunch. You know,
Okay,
you gotta get a crunch on the outside.
Yeah.
So.
Do you think that air fryers are like this generation's microwave?
Yeah, I think so. But I'll give your listeners a tip. If you have like frozen food that you want to cook crispy, but it's kind of hard to get it cooked faster in the air fryer, microwave it for a minute and a half, and then stick it in the air fryer, and it cooks a lot faster, and it tastes better. I don't know about it tastes better, but I think it tastes better. It doesn't dry out the stuff. But I'm always looking for the fastest way to cook things.
Okay. Tip, everybody. Make sure you write that down.
Yes. It'll be a test later.
What is okay, what's your go-to dessert, right?
I'm not a baker, really. So I tend to buy desserts for the most part. If I'm going to make a dessert, Lord, I really do not. I don't make a lot of dessert.
Or if you was just going to buy a dessert or something to have with it.
Like, my favorite, I like fruit desserts. So anything like apple, blueberry, you know,
like
mostly.
A crumble or something?
Yeah, apple pie, or I like blueberry muffins. But if I'm just like craving a sweet, there is a type of cookie that they sell in a grocery store in Jonesboro called Harps, and they have the most perfect chocolate chip cookies that ever. It has like, they put a little salt in them so that they have like actual like an interesting flavor. You know what I mean? Like they're so good. They're like butter cookies with chocolate chips in them.
Damn, that does sound right.
Yeah, it's like Butterific cookies, but they have like Hershey's chocolate chips in
Shout
them.
out Butterific,
right?
too.
Oh, Butterific is so good. Oh man, so good.
All right, cool then. I bet. Okay, so we're getting close to the end of this episode, right? So we've talked about snacks, we've talked about entrees and starters, desserts, right? What is something, you being a comic, right? I ask every comic this. What's your like before stage food, and then like what's your after stage food? Like if you got a show, you're like, I'm gonna eat this before I do a show, or whatever, or like I did great on the show, I'm gonna eat this after the show, right?
Yes.
What's your go-to for that, pretty much?
Well, I'm the worst.
Yeah.
I'm the worst about eating, especially preparing myself. Sometimes if I'm running late, I won't eat anything before a show. I may have had a meal at like 2 or 3 o'clock, or a protein bar or something like that. Depending on where I'm at in my like a healthy food intake, it will be maybe some sort of takeout after, or maybe I'm going to order something small at the venue, depending where I'm at. I'm really bad about eating late, and I mean honestly, I've sort of just accepted that it's going to happen because my dinner is almost always after I get home from anything, wherever I'm at. So maybe a lot of times it's leftovers.
Okay.
Because it's hard to find good food at 10:30 or 11 o'clock at night.
That is true. Yeah.
And man, the delivery services are so expensive.
Oh yeah.
But Huey's
$30 to
right.
DoorDash McDonald's to your house.
Yeah. But like Huey's has pretty good food that's open late, and then there's this like Indian restaurant that's available on the delivery apps. I'm not even sure it's a real restaurant. You know how that goes. The one
those what is it like a
Memphis Indian restaurant?
It's not. What is it? It's like not a shadow
I'm
restaurant,
not sure
but
that
like
it
a
has
ghost,
like a
ghost restaurant or something. Yeah.
But it really is good, and they're open till like 1 or 2 o'clock. I mean, they deliver until like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
So just heads up.
Yeah.
I love some food tips.
Yeah.
I would, if I like had people to cook for. I did at one point. I like wrote my own recipes. I had a little food blog for a while. I like to make soups, and so I'm all about infusing things with other things. Like I like to, I really like to make like a curry soup and like roast a bunch of vegetables and then use the immersion blender to like blend them up, and it just tastes so good. So. That
does sound like it would be good.
No, it's good.
Yeah.
And it's easy to throw a bunch of shit in the oven and just roast it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it tastes so much better than like sauteing or boiling or whatever.
And it's like, speaking of like just throwing stuff in the oven and roasting stuff, so I have been here recently just making take like feta cheese and then like fresh garlic and tomatoes. And then just let it cook in the oven, and then just mix.
On TikTok
just let it mix all together. So good, right? Or like cucumber salad, where you just like cucumbers and tomatoes and onions and shit, or whatever. It's so fire. But speaking of which, okay. So today's rando food fact, right, is this. And the reason I ask this because I know most kids love ranch dressing.
Yes.
Right. And most adults will do disgusting shit like eat ranch dressing with pizza.
I love ranch dressing.
It's so fucking gross. It's so gross. But anyway, did you know that there's one ingredient in ranch dressing, right, that makes it white? Because ranch dressing technically isn't white, right? So the one thing that makes it white is titanium dioxide, right? Which is also the same thing that's also the same thing in like in paint screening, right?
Oh.
But also in sunscreen. Okay.
There we go.
So technically, you're eating sunscreen, and then that's fine, right? It's flavored sunscreen.
Well,
so
I am bougie. I usually make my own ranch.
Oh, okay.
But
We got
I'm
the
not
cool
a big
kids.
I'm not a big ranch person.
Yeah.
I didn't like it as a kid at all.
Okay.
I didn't. I liked vegetables without ranch.
Yeah.
I honestly didn't start eating ranch until I would like eat it with like fried mushrooms or
Yeah.
something like that.
Okay.
I do
yeah.
love pizza with ranch.
Oh my god! I just don't. Honestly, I've never understood the whole thing behind it. Where it's like, we eat pizza with.
Well,
I would rather eat pineapples.
So
Than,
I don't like pineapple on pizza.
Yeah.
But I definitely know that I have some weird food taste, and I've definitely gotten to this place in my life where it's like, I like what I like. I'm fine with whatever you like. Like, don't ever give me any mustard or pickles. I can't eat them at all. None of it. Zero.
What?
I don't. Ever since I was like, I can't ever remember a time when I didn't hate mustard and pickles.
Oh my god!
I'm sure it's some sort of deep-seated psychological problem or something.
Yeah.
But, man, like if somebody puts mustard in a sauce and I can't taste it, it's fine. I've even cooked with it like maybe 1 or 2 times myself. But any hint of it, any smell of it.
So you don't put. So do you eat mustard in your potato salad?
Yes, that's what's crazy. Is I love potato salad. I love deviled eggs, but my mom always made it with sweet relish.
Yeah.
So that really cut through the
the mustard
taste.
yeah, like the vinegary taste or whatever. Yeah, okay. That makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Look, I'm ashamed of myself too.
So, the last question since you said you like making your own sauces and like ranch or whatever, right? What's your go-to then dressing then?
Like if I'm just gonna eat a salad,
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna eat like some like I like the like Asian toasted sesame dressing or the ginger dressing. I don't like ranch on a salad at all. It's really heavy, but I like vinaigrette, so I'll eat vinaigrette on a salad. I like Caesar salad. I just don't like ranch on salad. So.
Okay. Oh, that's dope, man. Well, everybody, this is the episode, right? We've got Tylon in the background. He's dancing around.
He sure is.
With a cowboy hat on. So we're going to end this episode. Allison, tell everybody where they can find you.
Yay,
see your comedy and everything like that.
All my shit. Okay, so I've got a lot of pages that I manage because I do a lot of different things. I run shows. So starting here, people in Memphis will probably listen to this first. I run a show every third Friday of the month at the Hitone Small Room called LOUDMOUTH Comedy. We just started this month, featuring a lot of really like talented Memphis and regional comics that will also be doing You'd Look Like a Comedy Show the next night. And that show is going to be at 9:30ish every third Friday night.
Okay.
I also have Allison McArthur Comedy on Facebook and Instagram. I just recently started my own podcast. I have a little brand going, Loudmouth of the South podcast, and you can find the page for that on Instagram and Facebook, and you can find it on Apple Music and Spotify and soon to be YouTube, but still just audio only. And then I also run shows in Jonesboro, Arkansas still under NEA Comedians. And we also have a web presence on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok of NEA Comedians. So
hell yeah.
That's what I'm doing.
Well, everybody definitely go look up Allison. She's hilarious. And definitely see her Loudmouth show in Memphis. Or if you're in Jonesboro, go check out the shows down there.
Yeah.
You got Local Fest and stuff coming up?
Local Fest is in September 13th and 14th in Jonesboro. It's going to be amazing. Those lineups are going to be like, I'm going to give those lineups in the next week or two. So.
Bet. Hell yeah.
Awesome.
Well, thanks everybody for listening. And as always, don't forget to drink water and don't be a piece of shit.
Good advice.